Hey guys, Deborah with Pinching Pesos here, and I thought it would be a good time to have an eBays and bacon. I generally do these whenever I have something I've been going over in my head and want to address. So, if you follow along with me, you know that recently I reorganized my office, and I was really super excited. I worked on it for 3 days, and it came out fairly well. I was, thought this is really gonna make things so much more productive and efficient, and I'm just gonna bang out and do these really amazing things. And organizing the office came on the back end of me following along with my goals that I had set, to do 40 new listings a week, $500 in sales. And we all know I have no control over if somebody's going to buy my stuff or not. It's just nice to kind of keep track of the sales numbers and watch them go up. And so anyway, I was doing really, really well. So I was like, you know what? It's time to reorganize this office and just really start banging out some business, because I have some life situations that I'm going to need to make sure that I can cover all of our family expenses off of my income alone. Uh, so I'm trying to prepare. I'm for the first time in my life, I am trying to prepare for a huge life event, so that way it doesn't affect me and my family as harshly as it would. So I have people keep asking me this, because they're like, well, how long is it before your husband's going to be going? He's going to be taking a trip to Mexico, and he's going to be gone for, I don't know how long. It could be a couple of weeks. It could be a couple of months. It is all determined by the consulate and how they process the information. So that's a little scary, because, hey, he could turn around and be back in 2 weeks, or he could turn around and be back in 6 months. So I have to prepare. I can't just say, oh, savings is enough. I need my business to be ramped up in a way that I can provide for all my family needs with my reseller money. Because, if you've been following me for a while, you know that, I only do this, this is the only income I have. I'm a reseller only, but I don't really consider myself full-time, because I don't put in the full time. If you're a full-time reseller, you're working full-time. And I, on the other hand, am a only reseller who works part-time. So definitely got some life changes coming up in that aspect of my business, in that, hey, I can't piddle around and do where, oh, I'm watching videos and I'm scrolling Facebook and I'm looking at TMZ and I'm avoiding. I do a lot of avoiding. So I have been working lately in the past couple of days, just trying to become, I consider myself fairly self-aware. My friends all say that I'm a very self-aware person, almost to like my own detriment. I can be very harsh on myself, because I know who I am. But that's kind of what brought me to today. I was trying to figure out, okay, I cleaned the office. I was very excited. And then business stopped for me. I didn't list anything. I've been using my Happy Planner, and for all the time that I was doing my challenges, I was keeping track of all of my listings. And then if you notice, the listing column is empty for an entire 10 days. 9 days. 9 days. And I couldn't figure out what happened. How did I go from, cruising along, doing my goals, I did it for a whole month where I was really consistent about, doing my listings and following along with things. And then my listing stopped and I was having a really hard time figuring out why. And I know from experience that happens to me a lot. Every couple of months, I go through these dry spells of I can't work. I don't know what's wrong. I think I figured it out. Ronnie Hart has joked about me when I say, "Oh, I'm organizing my office, I'm cleaning my office," and he's like, "Again?" He's like, "You clean your office like every 2 weeks." Really, it's about every 3 months I reorganize. There's something in me where I feel like to make change, I have to start over. When I was younger, that was horrible because I would move constantly. I think I moved 8 times in like a 2 to 3 year period because whenever I got unhappy with something, I was out. I needed a whole entire environmental change. I would straight up move, start over again. And while it's nice to get fresh, what happened is I realized that part of the way that I do things and have done for a long time doesn't work now as an adult. I can't just start over fresh. I think you guys might have heard me say several times, I wish I could just set all this stuff on fire. And really honestly, I kind of do. There's a truth to that statement where deep down I really just want to start over again. But what I realized and why I did today's show yesterday, I realized that there is and I realize I'm saying realize a lot. I realize that. No, but I noticed that my spells of unproductivity and not listing and being really like, I don't know what's going on with me. Why am I run side by side with me changing my office? I got to thinking back, and every single time when I got very excited and was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I have everything so organized and it's going to be awesome. Right after that, it ran right along with, I don't want to do anything. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm not listing. I don't know what's happening. And I think that's it. The change of my whole environment, right? Changing how I do things every day. I think we don't realize how much of a habit everything in our life is. Have you ever like moved where your pins are? So for like a whole week, you're reaching for your pen, but they're not there. They're over here now, or rearranged your kitchen. I remember when I moved the microwave from the counter to a shelf, all week long, my entire family would take their food and go this way and go, oh, it's not there anymore, and go back over there, And so since so much is ingrained with us as just kind of habitual movements, I think me constantly rearranging my office is messing up my brain, where I have to adjust and get that, okay, this is the process now. This is where things are now. This is when you wake up in the morning and you come in here, you sit down this way and not that way, and the stuff's over here and your camera's over there. And it seems really small, but I really think that's the root of why I get stuck. So I spent the last week at a standstill because I couldn't get my backdrop set up properly. I spent all of that time rearranging my office, and I had the vision of where I was going to shoot my pictures and what I was going to do. And I went and bought the new backdrop, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then I couldn't get it to work. The space that I had allotted for it, I couldn't get the cloth to stay where it was going to be. I couldn't get it to not be wrinkled. It had too much shadow. It was the wrong place. So I spent the whole week at a standstill, all because I couldn't get this space to work and became incredibly frustrated. That seems silly, right? Like 9 days, I spent 9 days not listing because I couldn't get a backdrop set up. That's crazy pants. I finally did. I gave up on that space and now it's there and it's actually perfect. It works great. I don't need any special lights. I don't need anything because I have daylight bulbs up there, and I just, right now one of them's unscrewed because if I have them both screwed in at the same time, it's like I'm at the beach here, So anyway, it's perfect. It works great. This is awesome. I'm excited about this, that I finally got that set up. And honestly, when I let go of the idea that I had about this backdrop needs to go here, this is the plan. When I let that go and was like, okay, this is not appropriate, I need a different space, it took me 15 minutes to set that up. And I was taking pictures and listing, and I've listed 7 things a day for the past 2 days since I set it up. All because I couldn't let go of the idea that I was supposed to be doing things in this certain way. I think as business owners, sometimes we let things like that, the idea of how something is supposed to work, completely halt us, completely stop us from getting and doing what we're supposed to do. We were talking yesterday on the stew about returns and how people dwell on their returns and they take it so personal and they're very upset and they get very emotional about it. And we're all like, let it go, just done with it. But you end up devoting all of this time, the hours, to something so minimal. And I think that's what's happening with me, is that with my office and the way that I'm supposed to be conducting things in my head is actually stopping me from moving forward. And I think realizing that now and knowing that is a struggle of mine actually becomes a strength now. Being self-aware and being able to realize, okay, this is how I function. I need to figure out another way, is a real strength. Instead of just, a lot of times when you can't figure out what is making you not be able to, or what is making you do something, and you can't figure out why, I think you end up in a way, and I've talked about this before, of just being, well, that's just the way I am. I discussed that before whenever I was talking about being unorganized, and I've kind of just been that way my whole life. I never had a habit of putting things back where they went. I'm not good about, keeping things really in their place. And then somebody had said, well, maybe it's just time that you just admit that that's just the way you are. Like basically, actually said, you're just not gonna be organized. Well, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable to me. If there's something like that, you keep working on it. You keep trying to improve. You try to figure out why am I that way? What is making me not be able to, or what is making me do things this way? And then you can turn those negative aspects of yourself into a positive. And even when things aren't going your way, you can still accept the why. So, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to address today. And that, you know, instead of accepting, really question, okay, why can't I do it like that? And, you know, even that little, like, that general idea, you know, you can bring that into your business. When people are like, well, my sales are slow and it's eBay's fault and it's this's fault and there's a glitch and there's a this and there's a, you know, and it's like, really, you know, instead of accepting that something is just not going your way, really questioning the real reason and the real root causes of things are strength. They give you more options, more opportunities, and you can move forward. You know, thinking that something is only one way makes you very stuck. Accepting that something is a certain way makes you very stuck. Me being where this is where I'm going to take my pictures had me stuck. 9 days, no business, because I was stuck with, this is the plan. This is the plan. Well, that plan didn't work. 15 minutes to change the plan. 9 days to get there. So yeah, but that's what I wanted to talk about today on just, even I wrote down a couple points because when I do these shows, it's really hard for me because I don't organize things before I do the show, and then I miss the points that I'm trying to make, and sometimes I talk in circles. So, but that's another thought that I had was about, even though something is good change, like me doing my office, that was good change. That's good change. Those things can still bring on a negative. And if you don't know how to get around them, your good change becomes bad change. It becomes halting change. It becomes, this change is not the change that I was looking for. And so, like, my good change of my office wasn't good change for a week. And the problem wasn't the office. The problem was me and how I was looking at things and letting myself get completely stuck in a notion that something was supposed to work a certain way and it didn't. So then I was stuck there. Let me go ahead and look at the chat real quick. Hi, everybody. I'm also planning a new backdrop, but I don't want to stop progress like I know it will. When there are essential parts of your business, like your camera or your accounting software or your photo taking area or your shipping supplies, those things are essential parts of your day. Do you know how much I messed up my business for a while by messing up my shipping area, where I just didn't have the appropriate place to put the boxes while I was packing the stuff? It threw me off. I couldn't, like, it would take me forever to get through my shipping process because it just wasn't quite right. It didn't flow properly. So when you make changes to the essential parts of your business, like Karen is saying, you know, doing her backdrop as well, if you don't get it right the first time, right when you're doing it, it can be really easy for that to completely throw your business for a loop. Because those essential parts of our business are what we consider to be very important. Your backdrop, your pictures, super important. If you can't get your lighting right, that'll mess your whole thing up. Instead of you being able to whip through 30 items of taking pictures, all of a sudden you're doing no items and no pictures because you've messed up your process trying to improve. My backdrop is improved from what it was before. the situation is improved from what it was before. People will have asked me, how come you haven't listed those clothes? When are you going to list those clothes? You've had them over there for 2 years. I didn't have any place to take the pictures. So now I can totally take the pictures. In the space that I was trying to allot to taking my pictures, I still wouldn't have been able to take pictures of those. It still wouldn't have worked. So I'm actually kind of excited that I didn't waste my materials on a space that wasn't going to work for everything anyway. Sometimes our plans are just crappy plans, and that's okay. I think it's really important to not get stuck on feeling like a failure when your plan didn't go through. You might want to just look at it and be, well, that was just not a very good plan. What was the eBase? Somebody sent me a question. Oh, somebody in Austin wants to pick up this rice cooker. It's my rice cooker from the last haul video. I priced it really low. I've been reevaluating my business, and I normally try to price things, and I've said for a long time that I price things on the higher end of the spectrum, and that I had no problem waiting it out. That has changed. So that was my plan. That's no longer my plan. That was my business model. That is not really conducive with the business that I have now. So I'm actually in the process of reevaluating my pricing and how I price things to begin with. I used to price things high, on the higher end of the spectrum, and offer best offer. And if I was having an off day and somebody offered me half of what I had listed, you know, I might actually take it. Other days I might look at their offer and go, you're crazy. But you just never know. That's why I never did auto declines. People are like, well, why don't you just set up auto decline? You won't get those stupid offers. Well, I want to know what they're offering. And sometimes I do accept some really crazy offers because it's been a slow week or it's been a slow day and I just want the phone to cha-ching, you know. So if somebody offers me $35 on my $70 item and I paid $5 for it, sometimes I just take it. But I've been reevaluating my business, and I talked about it in a video recently where I was pulling some of my items that were higher priced, and I was ending the listings and basically completely changing the pricing and then putting them back up. That did pretty okay. I ended up pulling 33 listings. I believe I sold 4 or 5. So that's not terrible considering that I was selling 0 before. So 4 or 5 is better than 0 last time I checked. So I'm going to end up going through my store and I'm going to liquidate. Right now, I really feel like I have too many items in my store. I'm just under 500. I was at over 500, but things have sold down. And I feel like there's too much stuff in there. For what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to go through everything and get everything reprice structured, really try to go after the quick flip kind of idea that, you know, it's actually priced on the lower end of the spectrum instead of at the top end of the spectrum. But I'd really like to get that capital back to invest in other things. And, you know, I feel like I'm constantly reinventing my business, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm actually not reinventing my business. I'm just kind of trying to change the way I look at my pricing. And it was all fine and dandy when I had 200 items and I was waiting it out and people would eventually buy the items for the higher price that I had set. But right now at 500 items, that's just too much stuff for me to be waiting it out. You know, it needs to go. I'm not in the storage business. I sell things. It's got to go. So I'm going to go through and just reprice pretty much everything and really look at just getting it out. You know, I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, okay, I have this pair of shoes. I have them priced $49. I paid $6 for them. Well, they haven't sold yet. It's been 6 months. Why is it not okay to just price them $24.95 and go away? Even if they sold for $15, that's still profit. I don't like to run like a fast nickel business, but the slow dime business isn't working either. So I need like medium, like 7.5 cents. That's the business I want. I want the 7.5 cent business. You know, like I needed to do not super slow, but it needs to go. You know, I want things to turn a little faster than they are. So, because I want to buy more stuff. I want to go shopping, and I can't go shopping if I've got this crap sitting waiting for people to buy it 7 months from now. It needs to go. Because when you're out shopping, that's when you find the real treasure. You know, I can't find real treasure sitting here. I need to be at the store, but I can't be at the store buying if I don't have the capital to do so, because I've got stuff sitting for a year so that Joe can buy it, you know, for Valentine's Day 2018. It's got to go. So that's what I'm working on right now. In the next couple of days is just repricing, restructuring. I've been changing my thought process when I'm listing things, just trying to bring the number down a little bit. I really don't think I'm bringing down my pricing enough though to really flip things quickly. So that's a hurdle I'm going to have to get past. I'm going to have to get over I've got to get top dollar for it. Because I don't have a lot of money invested in the particular items. I don't pay that much for them. I'm not saying that I only want to make $2, but if I paid $6 for it and it sells for $75, but I could sell it today for $50, I want to do that. I want to sell it for $50. You know, I don't want to wait 6 months and sell it for $75. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on. And that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today, was just, you know, figuring out what your mountain is, why your molehill has become this mountain. What is your mountain? How do you get around it? How do you get through it? How do you get over it? Should it really be there to begin with? I made this huge mountain out of a stupid backdrop area and halted my business for 9 days. My sales plummeted over the past week. I got sales every day, you know, but dude, it was not the sales I was looking for. And it definitely wouldn't pay my bills. So since I've got to prepare my business to be this full-time business, I've got to get out of the part-time mind frame. I've got to get out of that I can wait a year for the money. No, I can't wait a year for the money. I've got to get out of the idea of, oh, well, I can just sell these things for $10. No, I can't do it that way because I'm only one person. So this is going to be a learning process. I will make sure to continue to do eBays and Bacon with you guys so you can kind of follow along and see how I'm working through this process. Because it's really hard to be a part-time seller for 5 years and then all of a sudden be like, oh, this is going to be my money, the whole house money. It changes things a lot. I know one struggle I'm going to have is budgeting my cost of goods, because I have a bad habit, because I can. You know, I've had that freedom for the last 5 years so that I can just roll the money. Okay, so I made some money and I can go spend $300 at the store and buy more stuff. But I know that's going to be a struggle of mine, is getting to the point where this is how much money I have to spend before, and then I need to sell this much before I can spend more money. Building up that rotation, I know, is really hard. I think that's a struggle that a lot of people have when they first start. It takes time to build momentum. Fortunately, I'm planning ahead. So I'm trying to build the momentum, get the pricing right, try to really get my business structured properly to be successful, and provide for my whole family. That's a hard concept for me. Fortunately, I have a lot of really great friends who sell full-time. So I will be picking at their little brains. Not Jeff's though, because his brain's rotten. And yeah, and really just trying to get, that set advice on what I should do, and I will make sure to share it with you. So, but let me check the chat real quick before I head out. I really need to get to work. I've had this connects sitting here since yesterday. So let's see. Jeff says, I do both. I have quick flips and I have some long-term items. Which, yeah, not everything's going to sell quickly. I understand that. And I'm not trying to say that I'm going to liquidate after 2 months, but I have had some stuff for a very long time. And for a long time, I've had the idea that that was okay, because things were constantly selling. So it was all right if I had stuff that was sitting there for 2 years. But I'm getting away from that idea. I really just got to let it go. Sketchy J says, I listed 200 Halloween costume items and I tried to be the cheapest on everything because I want it gone by Halloween. I can understand that. Seriously. If I had 200 Halloween costumes, they would be priced very competitively. Sketchy J, make sure that you offer priority and express on your costumes. I know it sounds silly, but most people wait until the very last minute on costumes. So October the 25th, October the 27th, they're going to be sitting there trying to buy your costumes. So just make sure you offer express. Karen the Road says, my sales goals are helping me work more on my listing. That 60-day number on my phone is my daily incentive. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with my $500 sales goal. It wasn't that I really had any control over it, but it's just really nice and motivating to watch that number, get closer to where it's supposed to be. So, okay. All right, guys. I just want to thank everybody for joining me today and listening to me ramble on about my life. If you want more focused time, make sure to catch up with the Reseller Stew on Tuesdays at noon Central Standard Time. We do have a brand new panel member that will be joining us in October, so we're very excited about that. I will have a haul video for you probably, I don't know if I'm going to do it later tonight or tomorrow, but I'm going shopping because it is Wednesday and my daughter has art class. So for 2 hours, mama go shopping. Karen the Road says, you should have been my daughter. That's, you know what? You can adopt me if you'd like. I'm getting upset with my mom. So if you want to like daughter me, that's fine. We're good. Kids, love ya. Grandma would be great. All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for your support. I think you're all so amazing. And I hope everybody has a really awesome day. Bye.